2 Kings chapter 9. وَلِشَعْ النَّبِيِّ قَرَّ لَأَحَدٍ مِّبْنِي النَّبِيِّينَ. And Elisha the prophet called to one from the sons of the prophets. وَيَوْمَرْ لَهُ هَغَرَ مَتْنَكَ. And he said to him, Gird thou thy loins. وَقَهْ Paka Hashemen Hadebiyadaka, and take thou this flask of the oil in thy hand, Welech Ramoth Galaad, and go thou to Ramoth Galaad, Wavahathama, and thou shalt come to there, Uretham, and see thou there Yehu ben Yehoshaphat ben Nimshi, Yehu the son of Yehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, Wavata Wahakemoto mitok Echau, and thou shalt come, and thou shalt raise him from the midst of his brothers, وَهَبَتَاهُ Heder Bahadur, and thou shalt bring him to a room in a room. وَلَقَحْتَ Pakahashemen, and thou shalt take the flask of the oil. وَيَثَقْتَ عَلَى الرَّشُّ, and thou shalt pour upon his head. وَهَمَرْتَ, and thou shalt say, Kohamar Yahweh, thus Yahweh hath said, Meshahatika lemelech el Yisrael, I have anointed thee for a king over Yisrael. وَفَتَحْتَ هَدَلَتْ وَنَسَتَ وَلُوهَتَ, and thou shalt open the door, and thou shalt flee, and thou shalt not wait. وَيَلَكَ هَنَّغَرْ هَنَّبِي Ramoth Galaad, and the lad went, the lad the prophet, to Ramoth Galaad. وَيَبُوهْ, and he came, وَهِنَّ شَرِّ هَحَيْلْ يُوثَبِيمْ, and behold, captains of the host were sitting ones. Wayomer, and he said, Davar li eloka hashar, a word is for me to thee, O captain. Wayomer Yehu, and Yehu said, Elami mikulanu, to whom from all of us? Wayomer Eloka Hashar, and he said to thee, O captain, Wayakum Wayavo Habaita, and he arose and he came to the inside, or to the house. Wayithok Hashemen Elorosho, and he poured the oil to his head. Wayomer lo, and he said to him, Koamar Yahweh Elohe Yisrael, thus Yahweh God of Yisrael hath said, Meshahatika lemelech ele am Yahweh ele Yisrael, I have anointed thee for a king toward the people of Yahweh, toward Yisrael. Wehikita et bet Achab Hadonaka, and thou shalt smite the house of Achab thy lord. Weniqamti deme abadai hanavim, udeme kol abde Yahweh miyad Izabel, and I shall avenge for the bloods of my servants the prophets, and the bloods of all the servants of Yahweh from the hand of Izebel. Wa'avad kol bet Achab, and all the house of Achab shall perish. Vehikarati le'Achab mashatin beqir, and I shall cut off belonging to Achab one urinating for himself into a wall. Wa'athur wa'azub b'Yisrael, and one shut up and one left at large or free in Yisrael. Wa'nathati et bet Achab kebet Yoroba'am ben Nebat, and I shall give the house of Achab like the house of Yoroba'am the son of Nebat, ukebet Ba'ashah ben Achiyah, and like the house of Ba'ashah the son of Achiyah. With Izebel Yohekalu Hakalabim Behelek Yisrael Wen Koper, and Izebel the dogs shall eat in the portion of Yisrael, and there is not one burying. Vayifetach hadelet vayanos, and he opened the door and he fled. Yehu yasha el abdeh Adonai, and Yehu went out to the servants of his Lord. Vayomer lo hashalom, and one said to him, Is it peace? Madu baham shuga hadeh elaka. Why came this maddened one to thee? Vayomer alehem, and he said to them, Atem yeda'atem et ha'ish v'et shiho. Ye have known the man and his complaint. Vayomeru sheker, and they said, falsehood. Hagednah lanu, narrate thou now to us. Vayomer, and he said, Kadot v'kadot hamar helai le'amor, ko amar Yahweh, Meshahatika lemelech el Yisrael. Like this and like this he said to me, saying, Thus Yahweh hath said, I have anointed thee for a king for Yisrael. Vayemaharu, and they hastened. Vayeqahu ish bigado, and they took each man his garment. Vayashimu tahatayu el germ ham'alot, and they set under him to the strong floor of the steps, or the ascent. Vayitqa'u bashofar, and they sounded by the sounding horn. Vayomeru malak Yehu, and they said, Yehu reigns. Vayitqasher Yehu ben Yehoshaphat ben Nimshi Elioram, and Yehu took a conspiracy. Yehu, the son of Yehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, toward Yoram. Yoram haya shomer baramot Galaad, and Yoram was one watching in Ramoth Galaad. Hu v'kol Yisrael, he and all Yisrael, mipnei Hazael melech Aram, from the faces of Hazael king of Aram. ويعطب يهورام هملك لهتربه بيزرعهel. And Jehoram the king returned, or had returned, to heal himself in Yisrael. Min hamakim atar yakuhu aramim, from the wounds which Aramim wounded him. Behilahamo et Hazael melech Haram, in his battling with Hazael, the king of Aram. Wayomer Yehu im yesh nafshechem al yesh palit min ha'ir laleket lahagid b'Yisrael. And Yehu said, if there is your soul, let not an escapee go out from the city to go to narrate in Yisrael. Vayirkab Yehu, and Yehu rode. Vayelech Yisrael, and he went to Yisrael. Ki Yoram shokeb thama, because Yoram was lying there. وحزياه ملك يهودا يارد لرot et Yoram, and Ahaziah, the king of Yehuda, had descended to see Yoram. وحثوب عمد على همigdal بيزرعهel, and the watchman was one standing over the tower in Yisrael. Vayareh et shifat Yehu, and he saw the multitude of Yehu bavo, in his coming. Vayomer shifat hani roeh, and he said, a multitude I am one seeing. Vayomer Yehoram, and Jehoram said, Kaharakav, take thou a charioteer, Ushalah liqrahatam, and send thou to meet them, V'yomer hashalom, and he shall say, is it peace? Vayelech rocheb hasus, and a rider of the horse went, liqrahato, to meet him. Vayomer Kohamar hamelech hashalom, and he said, thus the king hath said, is it peace? Vayomer Yehu mahalaka ulshalom, and Yehu said, what is for thee and for peace? Sob el acharai, turn thou around to behind me. Vayaged hathoper le'amor, and the watchman narrated, saying, Bahamalach adahim v'lo. The messenger came as far as them, and he hath not returned. Vayishlah rokeba susatheni, and he sent a second rider of a horse. Vayavo alehem, and he came to them. Vayomer, and he said, Koamar hamelech shalom, thus the king hath said, Shalom, peace. Vayomer Yehu mahalaka ulshalom, sob el acharai, and Yehu said, what is for thee and for peace? Turn thou around to behind me. Vayaged hathoper le'amor, And the watchman narrated, saying, Bah Adha Alehem Walo Hathab. He hath come unto them, and he hath not returned. Waham minahag keminahag Yehu ben Nimshi ki beshigaon yinahag. And the driving is like the driving of Yehu the son of Nimshi, for in madness he is driving. Wayomer Yehoram Asor, and Yehoram said, Bind thou. Wayesor Rikabo, and they bound his chariot. Wayeshe Yehoram Melech Yisrael, Wa-Ahaziyahu Melech Yehuda Ish Berikabo, and he went out, Yehoram the king of Yisrael, also Ahaziyahu the king of Yehudah, each man in his chariot. Wayeshahu liqarat Yehu, and they went out to meet Yehu. Wayimtauhu behelqat Nabot hayizra'eli, and they found him in the portion of Naboth the Yizra'eli. Wayahi kerot Yehoram et Yehu, and it was as Yehoram's seeing Yehu. Wayomer Hashalom Yehu, and he said, Is it peace, Yehu? Wayomer Mahashalom Adazanune Izebele Imka Ukashapeha Harabim. And he said, What is the peace, as long as the whorings of Izebel thy mother and her witchcrafts are the abundant ones? Wayahapoch Yehoram Yadau Wayanos, and Jehoram turned his hand, and he fled. Wayomer ele Ahaziyahu mirma Ahaziyah, and he said to Ahaziyahu, Treachery, deceit, Ahaziyah. Yehu mileyado bakashet, and Yehu filled his hand by means of the bow. Wayach et Yehoram ben the Ro'ayu, and he smote Yehoram between his arms. Wayesh hahethi milibo, and the arrow went out from his heart. Wayikra berikabo, and he sunk in his chariot. Wayomer el bidkar thalitho, and he said to Bidkar his officer, Shah hashlikehu behelqat shede nabot hayizra'eli. Lift thou, throw thou him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Yizra'eli, ki dhkor ani wata, for remember thou, I and thou, et rokbim thamadim achare achab abiu, one's riding the pair after Achab his father. Wiyahwanasha alau et hamashah hather, and Yahweh lifted over him this burden. Imelo et demenabot with demevano raiti hemesh Num Yahweh. ושלמתי לך בחלקך הזאת, נאום Yahweh. If I haven't seen the bloods of Naboth and the bloods of his sons yesterday, a declaration of Yahweh, and would repay to thee in this portion, a declaration of Yahweh. Wa'ata shah hashalichehu ba'helaka kidavar Yahweh. And now lift thou, throw thou him into the portion like the word of Yahweh. Wa'hazayahu melech Yehuda ra. And Ahaziah the king of Yehudah saw, Vayanos derek bet Hagan, and he fled the way of the house of the garden. Vayeradof Acharayu Yehu, and Yehu pursued after him. Vayomer Gamahoto Hakuhu El Hamerakava, and he said, also him, smite ye him to the chariot. B'ma'ale gur ater et Yivlaam, in the ascent of Gur, which is for Yivlaam. Vayanos Megiddo, Vayamotatham, and he fled to Megiddo, and he died there. Vayarkivu to Abadai Yerushalem, and his servants carried him to Yerushalem. Vayikberu to Bikavurato Emahavotai Be'er David, and they buried him in his grave or sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. Uvishanata ahata eshere shana leoram ben Ahab malak Ahaziah ala Yehuda, and it was in the 11th year of Yoram, son of Ahab, that Ahaziah reigned over Yehuda. Vayavo Yehu Yisrael, and Yehu came to Yisrael, where Izebel Shama'a, and Izebel heard what Tashem Bapuk Enaha, and she set her eyes in the black paint. What Teteb Eterosha, and she made her head good. What Tashaqef Ba'ad Hahalon, and she peered out through the window. Yehu Bathar, and Yehu came in the gate. What Omer Hashalom Zimri Horeg Adonai, and she said, is it peace, O Zimri, one slaying his lord? Vayeshapano, and he lifted his faces El Hahalon to the window. Vayomer Mihiti me, and he said, who is with me? Who? Vayashiqifu Elo, Thanaim Tholotha Sarisim, and 3 eunuchs peered toward him. Vayomer Shimatuha, and he said, throw her down. Vayishmatuha, and they threw her down. Vayiz midamah el hakir vel hasusim, vayirmsena, and from her blood spattered to the wall and to the hawsers, and he trod her. Wayavo, wayohakal, wayeshet. And he came, and he ate, and he drank. Wayomer, and he said, Piqaduna et harura hadot, wiqivaruha, ki batameleka he. Muster ye now this cursed female, and bury ye her, for a daughter of a king she is. Wayeleku lekovarah, and they went to bury her. Waloha mataha vah, ki im hagul golet, waharagalayim, wakapot hayadayim. And they found not among her, if not the skull, and the feet, the 2 feet, and the palms of her 2 hands, the palms of the 2 hands. Wayathuvu, and they returned. Wayagidu lo, and they narrated to him. Wayomer devar Yahweh, and he said, the word of Yahweh it is. Atara dibber beyada avado Eliyahu hatishbi le'amor, which he worded by means of the hand of his servant Eliyahu the Tishbi, saying, Behelek Yisrael, Yohakalu Hakalabim, et Bashara Izabel. In the portion of Yisrael, the dogs shall eat the flesh of Izebel. Wahayata nivelata Izebel, kedomen ala pene hashade, behelek Yisrael. And the corpse of Izebel shall be like dung upon the faces of the field in the portion of Yisrael. Ataraloha yohmeru dota Izabel, that they shall not say, this is Izebel.